Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I decided on building a base game only house. So I built this in Oasis Springs and I actually am really pleased with how it turned out. I don't normally build some things that look modern, but I decided that actually it looked quite nice for this build. I got this as a request in my last video, kind of. And I think it'll be a bit easier for people to download something that's just base game. And yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoy it. I am pretty proud of how it turned out. So I'm just adding some grey accents to the build. I wanted the main focus of this build to be grey, white and black. So all the doors and windows have the black frame and then this grey accent is on the outside. And because it was a modern build, I wanted that glass on the balcony, and yeah, I actually managed to find one in base game, which I didn't know existed, to be fair. And I did this as almost like a planter box, and actually I really liked how it turned out. I decided that the plants are a bit too colourful for a desert, so I decided to go with these more bush-like plants in the planter box, and I think it adds a nice break from the grey and white of the build, and it adds just that little bit of brightness that it needs. And so I add this trim onto the roof here, but I also changed that. Eventually I changed the trim on the half walls, which I think looks nice as well. I decided I wanted this to be like a mezzanine kind of look and feel, so I left that as open from top to bottom. And because of those big windows, I think it looks really nice, and I think in real life it would look really nice as well, getting all that natural light in. So I kept the grey and white theme throughout the build, and there's just a few accent walls which are grey, but the rest are white. And I really like the way that the grey and white look together. And I stuck with the light wood flooring on the inside, other than in the kitchen and the bathroom. And I think that the black slate is a nice contrast from the rest of the house. So initially I thought this was the black swatch, but then I go and change it because I realized that there was brown there. So I'm just adding some cabinets into the kitchen here. I know it's not the biggest kitchen, but I think that it looks quite nice, and actually this house is probably suitable for a couple or a single sim, and I think that in that sense it's really nice and it would suit that sort of size of house. Just adding some clutter items in here, and I never put a rug by the sink, but I realized why it's useful, and so I decided to do it in this build because I've seen it in a few builds. So I wanted to add lots of plants into this build, just to kind of brighten up the place and break up the color scheme a little bit, because grey, white and black can be pretty boring. So that's the way I decided I wanted to break it up, was with the bright green of the plants. And underneath here I just add a bookcase and a little reading nook. I'm not sure how functional that is, but I think it looks nice and it makes use of that little space under the stairs. Since there weren't any curtains that were big enough to cover the big windows, I thought that the blinds would work quite nicely. Personally, I prefer having curtains because I think that they look, in my opinion, just a bit more elegant. But I think that because of how modern the house is, that the curtains actually suit it. So I didn't do much for that landing bit. I just added that area with the computer, and I added the accent table or the console table, and I kind of just left it like that. I kept it nice and simple. So here you can see me moving on to the bedroom, and I personally do not like this bed, but I think that it was the best option available for doing a modern build, and so I added these kitchen cupboards behind it to give it a better headboard, because actually the only issue I have with this bed is the headboard. I don't like how it looks. So that's kind of how I fixed it, or in my opinion I fixed it. So I made it almost like a whole backboard, and it's almost like an enclosed area where the lamps are. So I was gonna add this dresser in, but it didn't fit, so I added that one, and I think it actually kind of looks sort of IKEA-esque, and it looks really nice, but I never use that. So I think that this build is kind of showing me how many things in base game I don't use. And I was gonna put some chairs out on this balcony, but they couldn't face the front because otherwise the Sims wouldn't be able to get into them. So I just added some planter pots instead. And over here I am just adding some clutter items into the bathroom. And I think it looks, personally I think the bathroom looks quite nice. It looks lived in. Because I don't know why I've never done it, but having that little bathroom thing on the wall that has like shampoos and stuff in it, I think it looks really nice in the shower, and I think it looks really realistic. So we're moving on to the back garden here, and I kept it very simple. I thought because it's in a desert you'd probably want something like a pool to cool off on a hot day, and so I decided I wanted to add a pool to this build as well. As I said though, I kept the back garden pretty simple. The main thing in the back garden is a swimming pool, and I decided that I liked the look of that darker swimming pool because of the darker features of the house with the grey. And I saw the neighbors use this fence, and I thought that it actually suited pretty nicely. And yeah, so that's what I used. And I just added this small area of garden and the small area of like shrubbery in the back garden. And I add another small area just in the bottom right corner from where you can see now. I like how that area looks just a little bit enclosed because of that short fence. And I think it makes it look a little bit more finished, a bit more polished off. So just adding some terrain paint there. Okay, so moving on to some screenshots. I really enjoyed this build and I'm really glad I did it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will speak to you guys next time. Bye guys.